So we're here at the Voodoo Rooms in Edinburgh with Will Varley as part of his Postcodes from Ursa Minor tour. How are you, Will?
Very well, very good.
Good, good. So let's start off from the beginning. Where did it all begin for you, and how would you describe your music?
It all began when I was sort of playing a lot of open mics and acoustic nights when I was sort of growing up. And I used to sort of go down my local pub with a fake ID and go and play songs at the end of the road, and that was the sort of, romantic beginnings of my life in music. And then this is like 15 years later, sort of still just doing the same kind of thing, really.
Not promoting underage drinking or fake
of course,
IDs.
yeah, it's very important. yeah. You must drink from the age of 5 or 6 onwards. Yeah. So they do it in France, apparently.
Yeah, drinking with your meals.
Yeah, exactly.
You learn your boundaries.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So then in 2010 you started your own record label, Smuggler Records. So starting your own independent label, how do you think that helped you on your journey to where you are today?
It was very, very important. The thing is, you can sort of wait around for some guy with a cigar and a top hat to kind of come out the crowd one night and say,
"That's what I was going to wear today."
Maybe you're the guy I've been waiting for.
Maybe.
And sort of say, "I'm going to make you a star, boy." And I think that probably does still happen, but certainly not to people like me. So I kind of had to find a way of doing it. If I wanted to do it, and no one was really going to help me, so I met a band, Cocos Lovers, and they were kind of in a similar boat, and we just said, why don't we just say we're signed? That kind of gets one hurdle out of the way. So we kind of just started saying we were signed to this label, Smugglers Records, and then that's how it kind of started.
Brilliant. And then from there on, you then got signed to Extra Mile Records?
Yeah, about 5 years later. I mean, so on the back of my album, it still says Smugglers Records and Extra Mile. Smugglers Records is a hugely important part of what I do and always will be. But Extra Mile also a great organisation, kind of similar to Smugglers in the kind of way that they've sort of built themselves up from nothing. And so, they're just another great group of people who kind of wanted to get involved and give me a hand with things. So I think generally in this kind of thing, it's always good to have as many people as possible kind of on your side as part of your team, It's better than being alone.
So you still bouncing the two off each other? You still working in Smuggler Records?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, obviously touring a lot and kind of haven't got a huge amount of time to sort of. I used to run the website for Smugglers and bits and pieces like that. I don't have a lot of time to do that anymore, but certainly Smugglers is hugely important to me.
We notice you've also got a few of your regular faces on Extra Mile Records. How does it feel working with a growing roster of great artists? Yeah,
it's great. I mean, it's said a lot about a lot of different things, but with Extra Mile, it's very true, and it is a kind of very much a family. Everyone looks out for each other. Everyone kind of tours with each other. We just got off tour with Frank Turner and Skinny Lister were doing the kind of main support, who were also on Extra Mile, and I was opening up, so it was very much a sort of Extra Mile show, the whole thing, and that's kind of how they do everything. Everything's kind of interconnected, and it feels really good, really good.
Brilliant. So then in 2015, you supported Frank Turner and the Proclaimers.
Yeah.
Scottish interest there.
Absolutely, laddie.
So how did it feel for you breaking into supporting, playing with such big audiences?
Yeah, weird, really
weird,
strange. Literally 15 years of playing to under maximum kind of 50 to 100 people, and then suddenly to sort of walk on stage. The first real one was the Winchester gig with Frank Turner. He did a homecoming show, Valentine's Day, a couple of years ago, and it was just a really terrifying actually experience. Walking on stage and just seeing this kind of endless room of people, but also very exciting. It's kind of what you always want to do, and you think it's never going to happen, and then suddenly there you are walking on stage. And then did the Albert Hall with Frank as well, which is another kind of incredible, but also slightly
It
terrifying
was a sellout
experience.
show as well, I believe, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, things like that, and obviously doing the Proclaim. I mean, so those shows were kind of one-off, and then I did the tour with the Proclaimers, and it was like every day, every night, you're playing to like 1,000, 2,000 people, you know, and it was quite funny, like, and you know, the Proclaimers, amazing guys, and had an amazing time with them, and then like so, we were on the bus in Germany, and Dougie does the tour management. I kind of said, like, how big's the venue tonight? We were on our way to Stras in Austria, and he said, oh, it's like 1,200 people. And I said, oh, that's kind of small. And he went, oh, too small for you now, is it, you know? But in my head, 1,200 people is suddenly, having done 3 months of like 2,000 people a night. 1,200 is like, that's easy. It's like,
I can do this now, yeah.
It's ridiculous, you know? But it's amazing how adaptable the mind is, really. I don't know.
So then, working with those artists, did that open you into a new sort of new market for other gigs, more people following you?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's kind of the way that I think Frank's sort of done it over the years, is just by sheer hard touring, you know. And you know, he's not the kind of he wasn't like everywhere all at once. Suddenly one day, like you turn on the TV and it's like everywhere. You know, like some bands or artists that's how it goes.
Yeah.
With Frank, it's been about kind of, you know, blood, sweat and tears.
A long slog.
10 years of hard touring, and now he's kind of selling out like the Albert Hall, you know. But that's not something that happened overnight.
No, definitely not. So next we'll talk about the Ramblin' tour,
Mm-hmm.
where you walked 500 miles and you did 24 shows throughout the UK.
Indeed.
That's a bit mental. So where did the idea come from that?
A drunken conversation in a pub.
Was it with the Proclaimers?
No, although we did cover that song at the end of the tour, on the last gig. And then when I was touring with the Proclaimers, every night they'd dedicate that song to me. So that was kind of cool.
That's good, yeah.
I didn't understand a word they were saying most of the time.
You're going to get a lot of
Scottish
jokes
accent.
about the 500 miles and the Proclaimers. I've seen it in interviews already. So I was like, I have to put it in somewhere.
Well, I mean, I just did it. It's a difference.
So imagine when you were on the tour, you had a lot of time to think and reflect. Has that contributed to the newest release?
Yeah, definitely. I wrote a lot of the songs on the tour, on that walking tour of this album. It's kind of the way that people always used to tour. It's the way that we should tour, really, you know. And what you find is when you're doing something like that, every day you're meeting new people, you're hearing stories, and you're writing songs, you know. If you can't write album after album about sitting in a bus. It's just not. It's not possible.
Well, someone's paying for your journey.
Yeah, well, you can't. You can't do it. You can't write albums about hotel rooms and buses. It's impossible. But you can write albums about, you know, cliff edges and people and stories and all that stuff. You know that we miss out, really.
Very sort of nautical.
Yeah, exactly.
The sailor stories.
Oh yeah.
And then we go on to the release of this, the first release from this album, The Man Who Fell to Earth. Sorry, that was about Josie Matata.
Yeah.
So, what made you write about that story, and do you think it reflects a lot about seeking refuge today?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It was just the image of this guy, 21 years old, lying on a street in sort of rich suburban London, from Angola, just lying there on the ground next to these sort of, you know, mansions. There was just something in that picture that to me just kind of summed up the whole conversation.
I mean, the song is incredible, and the words to it. I mean, every time you listen to it, you hear something else.
Right, cool.
And it's one of these shivers up your spine.
That's very kind to say. Thank you.
As for the video as well, is it
the
an
marble,
interesting video?
Yeah.
How long did that take to do?
It took me a long time, yeah.
Is it in your house?
Yeah. My girlfriend got quite annoyed with me for having these endless kind of cardboard structures everywhere. She couldn't walk around the house, you know.
Should have had her ducking
stepping
and
over. Yeah,
and
exactly,
stepping.
ducking over. But yeah, I mean, it took me I think they were up for about 4 days, and then took them down. It was nice. Nice few days. But I think, you know, when you're telling a story like that, you've got to be careful. You know, this is a real guy whose life ended not that long ago, you know, a few years ago, and you can't sort of, if you're making a piece of work about that, you can't take it lightly, you know.
No.
So there was a lot of conversations about the video and which way to go, and that was what I kind of came up with that idea. To me, there's something about that sort of fits with the song.
Yeah. Do you think that with singing about it, you're actually reaching out to an audience that might not know about him, so you're telling his story and
well, I think the thing is,
keeping his
it's
legend
like
alive?
the way I've always seen it. I don't really see like, for me, like I just write songs about if I'm upset, if something's kind of like stuck in my head, or if I'm worried about something, or if I'm happy about something, or whatever it is. That's when I write. I don't really worry too much about the effect the song's going to have.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm not sitting there writing this song hoping that it's going to change anything, or because that's not really. You know, that's not what I want to do. I just write songs for quite a selfish reason. You know, I write songs for me.
Yeah, just get off your chest.
Get off my chest, exactly. But if that in turn helps somebody or kind of, you know, starts some cogs moving in someone else's head, that's great. But it's not what I set out to do. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. So we're now on the second day of the UK
Day 2,
tour.
yeah.
So you've got 5 sold out shows already.
Yeah,
I believe,
indeed.
right?
Yeah.
So how's the tour differing from the last few that you've got?
The last few have been these kind of like big support tours. So it's really nice actually with these gigs because you get a lot more time on stage. You know, you go from instead of like 25 minutes, half an hour, you get an hour and a half. You know, so you got more time to talk. You've got more time to, you know, get to know the audience a little bit and like. Yeah, it's nicer to be able to do it that way, in some way, in terms of like the show, but in terms of, you know, obviously it is incredible to play in front of thousands and thousands of people. So there's sort of
give and take.
Yeah, exactly. they're two different beasts in a way. You know, they're different jobs. I think I couldn't tell you which I prefer. I like them both for different reasons.
Yeah. So where are you looking forward to like playing next on the tour? Is there one location that really?
Not really. I kind of like, you find when you're touring like this, everywhere kind of sort of blurs into this strange, big drunken night out.
Big drunken follow your feet.
Yeah, I mean, I love it all. I like you know, there's certain places which have a real music kind of like, it seems to be in the culture of the city. You know, certainly, you know, Glasgow and Edinburgh definitely have that.
Yeah, you got King Tut's. That's incredible.
Exactly.
Venue
Yeah,
to
yeah.
play.
I mean, you know, up here it seems like live music really fucking matters. You know, if you go down to Leeds, Manchester, Bristol, Nottingham, you know, these places, live music is so much in the kind of fabric of the city.
Yeah.
So they're always good fun to play. But equally, I love playing at my local in Deal, the Lighthouse. You know, it's always a good night.
Is that where you did the album?
Yeah.
Live in the Lighthouse. You've also announced that you're going to be doing a European tour with Frank Turner.
I've just done it. Just finished it. Yeah.
Just done it. And you're going to do Skinny Lister tour as well.
We're going to America in a month. Yeah, with Skinny Lister.
Is that a big deal for you? Is that?
Yeah, it'd be amazing. I can't wait for it. But at the moment, I kind of can't really compute it. You know, there's like this tour at the moment that is about to occur. So it feels like a million years away.
Next year over the seas, doing it big time again.
Looking forward to it.
And then finally, last, what's next for you? It's a big question, but maybe festivals.
Well, hopefully a burger and a pint of Guinness.
Burger and a pint of Guinness. I'll get you a Guinness. Deal.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've got some loads of festivals and more tours this year coming up. I mean, America, obviously, the next thing after this tour. But yeah, just keep on playing as much as possible, and you know, if people keep coming to the shows, then I'll carry on playing.
Playing.
And when they stop coming, then I'll go and live in a lighthouse somewhere and drink vodka
with a cat.
Yeah, with a cat, exactly.
Sounds brilliant. Okay, well, get your pint of Guinness and your food.
Sweet. Thanks
Thank you
guys.
again, Will.
Cheers.